Hi, welcome to this part of my review featuring the Legend Quest Omnibus Edition. If you haven't seen the other parts of my review, featuring this classic fantasy style simulationist RPG, please check out the playlist in the description below. This time we are going to talk about the different modes of movement, starting with free walk. All characters are able to move a number of feet equal to their agility without modifier. This is called free movement or free walk, and does not count for a walk modifier. Any additional movement will cause a walk modifier. This is the only type of movement allowed when casting spells or performing mental proficiencies. Then we have walking. This is the slowest full movement type, but typically allows other actions. Walking speed is calculated by adding the character's agility and endurance, and then multiplying by 5 feet. Any character that has been fatigued to less than 75% of maximum will receive a movement modifier equal to twice the initiative modifier, so the modifier will reduce the character's speed. This modifier does not affect free movement, but does affect walking, running, and sprinting. Any character may always move at least their full free walk. Walking never causes a loss of fatigue. However, neither is it considered to be resting. If a character exceeds his or her walking speed, the character is considered to be running, not walking. Characters can normally walk and attempt most actions, except for spellcasting and mental proficiencies. When moving, it will take the character 100 initiative counts to arrive at his or her destination. If the character has a low initiative, this may cause a character to arrive at the chosen destination during the next turn, often holding an action, or force the character to run or sprint to arrive during the current turn. Anytime a character walks in the same turn as attempting an action, the character receives a minus 10% modifier to the chance of success. This is due to the bouncing and movement that are caused by walking. If a character is walking during the turn, there is no modifier to their parry or dodge. This is due to the movement affecting both the attacker and defender. When it comes to running, this is quicker than walking, of course, but has definite disadvantages. Running characters are unable to accomplish most tasks. The only attack allowed when running is charging. Running characters can dodge but not parry. There is no modifier to dodging while running. Running can also cause fatigue damage. Every character has a number of running rounds. Running rounds are computed by adding the character's running skill levels to the character's endurance. Anytime a character runs for longer than his or her running rounds, the character loses 2 fatigue points per round. 1 running round will be regained for every round of rest taken by the character. Running speed is calculated by adding the character's agility, endurance, and running skill levels and multiplying the sum by 10 feet. Anytime a character exceeds this speed, the character is considered to be sprinting. This speed is affected by the fatigue modifier explained under walking. Then we have sprinting. This is the fastest movement possible for a character. Sprinting is affected by the same restriction of actions that running is. Sprinting characters are allowed to dodge but not parry. Sprinting characters can only attack by charging. Sprinting is much more tiring than running. A character uses up 3 running rounds for every round of sprinting and loses 4 points of fatigue for every round of sprinting after that. If the character has less than 3 running rounds left and attempts to sprint, the character will lose both the running rounds and the 4 fatigue points. Sprinting speed is computed by adding the character's agility, endurance, and running skill levels, and then multiplying the sum by 15 feet. Sprinting speed is affected by the fatigue modifiers described under walking. This is the maximum movement allowed for the character, and the character cannot move farther under his or her own power. All speed calculations include the character's agility. This agility is the character's agility after being adjusted for armor attribute reduction and armor levels. When it comes to jumping, standing characters can broad jump a number of feet equal to their strength, and characters can make running jumps equal to their strength, endurance, and agility added together. High jumps are equal to the character's strength halved, while vertical jumps are equal to the strength added to agility, then multiplied by 3 inches. In each calculation, any jumping skill levels are added to each attribute before the calculation. So a single jumping skill level will add 3 feet to a running jump. It's important to note that armor will affect your ability to jump. When it comes to pressing into combat, and thereby moving the defender back, this is based on free walking. If an attacker attempts to move forward and the defender chooses to give the ground, the combatants move without effect. If, however, the defender decides to hold the ground, the attacker will have to accomplish an opposed task to move forward. The task uses strength as a base, and weapon skills may be used to increase the chance of success. The defender also resists with strength, and may also use any weapon skill levels to resist. Remember that skill levels may only be used once per round. If the attempt is successful, the attacker moves forward his or her free walk. If the defender is forced to move farther than his or her agility, the character is affected by a walk modifier. If the defender is forced to move more than his or her present walk speed, the character is forced to run and dodge. The attacker cannot press forward more than this free movement. Pressing forward always ends at the end of the round, whether the attacker has moved the full desired distance or not. Pressing forward is not an action. A character may press forward and attack during the same turn without penalty. When it comes to charging, anytime a run or sprint is used in the same turn as an attack, the attack is considered to be a charge. When charging an opponent, the attacker gets no defense against the target of the charge, but may dodge any attacks from others. The attack is then resolved normally. There is no modifier to the attack's chance of success if the character is running, but a minus 15% modifier is applied if the character is sprinting. In addition, the attacker raises his or her damage multiplier by 1 step. If the target of a charge is ready with a weapon and an action, they may return the attack. The person with the longer weapon is allowed to attack first. If the target of the charge is using a piercing weapon, he or she also receives the increased step in damage. The attacker or charger may use any melee weapon. The target is allowed to parry or dodge. Let's talk about breaking off from melee. Here they give you an example using combatant A as the one who wishes to withdraw from combat, and combatant B is the one pursuing or pushing the opponent. If combatant A wishes to withdraw from combat, the opposing combatant B must choose to allow the retreat or press the attack. If the non-withdrawing combatant B chooses to allow the retreat, melee is ended without incident. If the non-withdrawing combatant B chooses to press the attack, the retreating combatant A must accomplish an agility task to break off melee. The retreating character A may use any acrobatics skill levels he or she has to increase the chance of success, but receives no non-skilled modifier if he or she does not have acrobatics skill. The non-retreating combatant B may resist this task only with weapon skill levels for the melee weapon they have ready. If the agility roll is successful, the withdrawing character A may walk or run and or dodge, while the stationary character B may not attack the retreating character A. If the agility test fails, the withdrawing character A may only use base parry for defense, which would mean no weapon or shield levels. After a failed attempt, a character, that is character A, may still move away from melee, but this will expose the character A to a free, additional and non-initiative controlled, unopposed, that is no defense, attack from the non-retreating combatant B. This attack will be in addition to any other action the non-retreating combatant B attempts this turn. This free action can only be an attack. This is a limited action and not a free action of any kind. The non-retreating character, that is character B, does not have to perform a free attack. That is character B's choice. If a character retreats from melee, he or she is still at risk from thrown or ranged weapons. If the non-retreating combatant B is able to pursue and overtake the retreating combatant A, melee combat may be rejoined during the next turn or later. If the non-withdrawing character B is also engaged with a second foe, let's call this foe C, the retreating character A automatically succeeds in the agility task. And this concludes this part of the review. In the next part we are going to talk about attacking. You can appreciate how this RPG tries to represent movement in an extremely realistic way. All of those nuances and modifiers try to represent the actual movement in a combat situation. It is not a stress-free sort of action. Someone is trying to kill you, and you are trying to get into the best position to score the most lethal, most damaging attacks upon your opponent. So all of those modifiers, that difficulty when it comes to performing actions while moving about, promotes a realism or an immersion completely rooted or grounded on a realistic rule set. Thank you for watching this part of the review, and thank you for your likes and your comments. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. And thank you so much to those of you that are going the extra mile to support the channel. If anyone else wishes to further support the channel, the information on how to do that will be in the description below. Once again, thank you, and see you later.